All right, we are live. Thank you for Ellen and Parker for joining us, and I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Do you want to go first, Alan, or?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Alan Gubanik, and I'm going to be the silent partner in the background here for Parker's talk. He and I are both with the Lahontan Audubon Society here in Reno, Nevada, in northern Nevada. And so once Parker is done with his talk at 2:30, I will be giving a talk on various kinds of tools you can use for watching birds and other wildlife. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Parker. Parker, it's all yours.
Hello there, everybody. Yes, as Alan said, my name is Parker Flickinger, and I'm going to be starting off my talk all about an introduction to backyard bird watching. And first off, a little bit about me. Hang on, technical difficulties. But yes, a little bit about me. I work at Lahontan Audubon Society here in Reno, Nevada. I am the marketing and communications coordinator. And I work right now. First, my job is interfacing with the public, all members of the public, teaching you about birds and hosting bird-related events. Right now, we have been working mainly virtually due to the pandemic. Yes, now my presentation is going. So the question you might be asking is, what is bird watching? Does anybody have any clues that they want to leave in the comment section about what they think bird watching is? Anyone? I see some.
I see
okay, well, bird watching, the clip. Whoops. The thing, it's a trick question. Bird watching, you probably have already done it. For the sake of my presentation, I have decided to classify bird watching is going out in the woods or in your backyard or in the parks and observing the birds in any way, shape, or form. So this could include just watching some birds in your backyard that are in a tree. If you have a feeder in your house, watching birds eat at the feeder, or just watching, going down to the park and watching birds feeding in the park. So it's something that you all have done and probably have experience with. The big thing about bird watching is that anybody can do it. You don't need expensive equipment like binoculars or cameras. You don't need to take trips to, say, exotic countries or go way out into the wilderness to go bird watching. You can literally do it in your backyard. You can literally do it in the parks. Therefore, the purpose of my presentation is to give you a little bit of background knowledge about birds so that, say, if in the future you are walking down the street and hear a bird singing or see a bird in the tree, you'll be able to have more knowledge about it and therefore have more of an appreciation about all the birds we have all around in our world. And a specialty about this presentation is how it features your local parks. Most of the birds that are in this presentation can easily be found in the parks that we have in Reno or in Sparks or in Washoe County, Nevada. Does anybody know what this park is in the picture here? Anybody have a guess? I don't see if any. Well, anyways, the park in the picture is that is the Oxbow Nature Center all along the Truckee River, which is a great bird watching spot. And I highly recommend, if you get a chance, going out to Oxbow Nature Center or Idlewild Park. So first, some little rules of etiquette. While you're out bird watching, it is always appreciated to be quiet and use your eyes and your ears while bird watching. This is so you don't scare the birds away and so that other people can also watch the birds as well. Of course, leave no trace outdoor ethics are always in play, even if you're in a city park. So that includes not leaving trash, and if you have trash, throwing it away in trash cans. And the big question is, what about the pandemic? Well, the answer is during the pandemic, you can still bird watch. And it's a very fun experience and a great way to maintain your mental health by appreciating the birds. Of course, though, our rules of social distancing, of wearing masks and washing your hands are all still in play. And if you follow these rules, you can bird watch and have fun while bird watching and be safe. So first off, I'll talk about is parts of a bird. Birds have parts of their body, which you can see in this diagram. So everybody, birds have a crown. So can everybody point to their crown? Yeah, everybody know where their crown is? Yeah, it's your head. And it's important to know parts of a bird because certain birds are named from their parts. For example, the white crowned sparrow. What color do you think the white crowned sparrow's head is? Yep, well, it's white, exactly, it is white. So that's how they use the birds as parts to have their names. So now another way what we refer to as birds is we refer to birds as migratory or resident. For my example of migratory birds, I have this flock of Canada geese. And Canada geese are migratory. They fly south from Canada for the winter. They pass through our neck of the woods, Nevada, and then they end up down in Central America. And then in the springtime, they migrate up north. So they are migratory, whereas the opposite of migratory are resident birds. This bird here is the California quail. It is found year-round in Nevada. But that brings up a big question. If it's in Nevada, why is it named California quail? Shouldn't it be just in California? Well, the answer is no. Common names of birds do not identify their location. California quail can be found in California, but they are found all over North America. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Common names don't mean just location. Another thing to talk about is sexual dimorphism. Di means to, morphism means appearance. These birds here are called brewer's blackbirds, and they're birds you might see in, say, the parking lot of McDonald's foraging. The male brewer's blackbirds are jet black, and they have this brilliant glassy yellow eye, whereas the females, they are this dusty, buffy brown color. They are the same species, but birds of different genders look different from each other. That is sexual dimorphism. Whereas the opposite of sexual dimorphism is sexual monomorphism. Mono means one, morphism means appearance. So monomorphic birds are where the male and the female birds all look the same. The example I have here is a Steller's jay. This is a male here on the left, and this is a female Steller's jay here on the right. They're different genders, they're the same species, and they look the same. That is sexual monomorphism. So now I'm going to get into is bird types. People have classified different types of birds, and it's important to know this in case you are traveling because bird types, people use the same bird type terms all over the world. So if you ask someone about bird types, say you're traveling in another country, in Europe or in South America, and you ask them what type, you use the bird type terms, they'll know exactly what they're talking about. So let's learn some of them. The first one is called passerine birds. These are also commonly known as songbirds or perching birds. Here is a lesser goldfinch, which is commonly seen at feeders. Some more passerine birds, and you might see some familiar faces. This bird here is the American robin. You often see American robins. They love to be out in fields where they can dig up worms to eat or feed worms to their chicks. This bird in the center is a flycatcher known as the Say's phoebe, which is common here in Nevada. And then this other bird here with the yellow breast, that is called a western meadowlark. They have a recognizable call, and you often see them perched on barbed wire. They love to forage in fields for insects to eat. So the western meadowlark. And here are more passerine birds. There is the California scrub jay. As the name scrub suggests, these birds, they like to eat in the bushes and in the brush. They like to hang out where they can find insects and fruit to eat or nuts to eat. So that's why they're called the scrub jay. And this bird in the middle, this is a male red-winged blackbird. Red-winged blackbirds are commonly seen in wetlands, and they love cattails where they can build their nests. So it's easy to find red-winged blackbirds again at, say, Oxbow Nature Center or Idlewild Park or anywhere along the Truckee River. So if you see blackbirds with the red shoulders, those are red-winged blackbirds. Next is house sparrows, which are another common feeder bird. If you have a bird feeder, you often see them. Now, our next group is waterfowl, which waterfowl are birds that include the ducks and geese, which are adapted to live on or near the water. This is our common duck, the mallard duck, which you often see at Sparks Marina or Virginia Lake. Another example of waterfowl here is the Canada goose I mentioned before, which migrates through Reno and our neck of the woods. And this other duck here is called the common merganser. It's a funny looking duck. It's got a crest and it's got this long bill. What do you think she uses her bill for? That's a mother merganser with her chicks. What do you think she uses her bill for? Well, it has to do with their behavior. Waterfowl have different behavior when they're out on the water. This is another mallard here, and this behavior is called dabbling. What dabbling is where a mallard sticks its head down in the water to find pondweed to eat. So that's why they stick their butt up in the air in that funny position. But over here, we have common mergansers in this video on the right. And they are doing what is called diving, where they dive underwater and swim. They are skilled swimmers. Why do you think they dive? Well, the answer is to eat. You know how I said they have that long bill? They use that bill to catch fish. It functions like a little fish hook, so they dive underwater to chase fish and they snag them with their bill. So that's what you often see when you see mergansers out on the pond diving down. Now, this next group is called the birds of prey. They are also known as the raptors. And our common raptor here, we call this the red-tailed hawk. You often see birds of prey circling in the sky. The red-tailed hawk has a shrill, shriek-like call, like a sheer, sheer. And it's a famous call that they use often in Hollywood movies as a sound effect, which they use it in place of our next raptor's call, which is our national bird, the bald eagle. And I included the bald eagle because right now, bald eagles are a common sight here in Nevada. You often see them in south of us, south of Carson City, in like the rural Douglas County area. You'll see them flying over in flocks. And what they're doing is they're eating up the afterbirth of cattle. So they're a common sight next to ranches. So yes, you'll see several bald eagle. That's why they're here right now. And then this next bird is our final raptor, the Cooper's hawk, which you often see perched on telephone wires and in trees. And what do you notice about this Cooper's hawk here? You'll notice probably that it has this big red eye. What do you think they use those big red scary looking eyes for? Well, the answer is, you probably guessed, seeing. They have excellent vision. So Cooper's hawks use their vision to pick out rodents. They love to eat rodents. They can see them from far away, so they'll take off from the tree and catch a rodent to eat. Now, our next group is the woodpeckers. Woodpeckers are birds which are adapted to climb trees, and they have big, long beaks that they use to poke holes in the trees. And they do that so that they can eat tree sap or eat insects which live inside the tree bark. The white-headed woodpecker you see is a common bird often seen in the trails around Lake Tahoe. So another common bird in parks is this one, the northern flicker. You'll notice northern flickers, they have this color like this, which that is camouflage, so they can look like leaves or like branches. Anyways, you'll often see them in parks where they're foraging for food to eat, especially in the trees. And you'll also notice, what do you notice here about this flicker? It's got that really long tongue, and they use that tongue so that once they've poked a hole in the tree, they can use their tongue to pick out, say, insects that are living inside or lap up tree sap. Now, this next group is the ground birds. These are birds which are adapted to live on the ground. They may fly, but they usually do so in short bursts, only like to get away from predators. This bird is the most famous ground bird, the wild turkey, which is a rare sight in Nevada. They're hard to find, but it's much more common to see this bird, which is the California quail. California quails are often seen in the parks, especially around Veterans Parkway or DeMonte Ranch wetlands. They have a louder call, which sounds almost like Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. That's what some people remember their call, and that's how they find them. There are plenty of other birds that aren't within these groups, and they're so unique, they get groups of their own, they get classifications of their own. An example of this are hummingbirds. We have the Anna's hummingbird that hangs out here in the winters in Nevada. There's also the doves. There's the mourning dove, which we often have here in, again, south of us in the more rural areas of Nevada. And then this other one I've included is another common bird seen on the Truckee River. It's called the belted kingfisher. So what do you think the kingfisher eats, this bird? Exactly, it eats fish, and it's got a shrill chatter-like call. If you're walking on the river and hear that chatter-like call, that's what it is, the belted kingfisher. So anyways, as a wrap up now, I've given you a lot of information all about the bird species, but I hope that this helps you in your daily life now, because birds are everywhere. It's easy to get started. It's easy to see them in your backyard. And there's so many fun ways, in addition to like knowing what type of birds there are, is to just watch their behavior. Are they in the air? Are they in the ground? Or are they in the tree? Are they eating? Are they singing? Are they fighting with other birds? And sometimes they may even watch you, or they may just run away. Some kids like to draw pictures of birds. Some kids like to take pictures of birds with their phones. I hope that now that I've given you this information, when you are partaking in some of these activities, you'll be able to recognize these birds as you would a familiar face. Thank you so much for listening.
Alan and Parker, thank you so much for your time. Participants, everybody have a great day.